Okay, number 3 says we need to give 1,000 milliliters, 5% dextrose in water at 125 milliliter per hour. So the abbreviation for our solution is going to come back to this 5% dextrose in water. You may see that written a couple different ways. It could be a D5W or 5DW. Okay, either one of those are acceptable. What is our flow rate in milliliter per hour? They specifically gave that one to us here, right? 125 milliliter per hour. I do prefer that you use the word per in here instead of a slash. Okay. Moodle, I have to set up all the answers in Moodle, and I didn't set up any with slashes. They're all per, P-E-R, ML space per space HR or H, but no slashes, please. Okay, so what is our infusion time in hours and minutes if needed? So they didn't specifically give this one to us like they did on our previous examples. They just told us 1,000 milliliters and we're supposed to run through it at 125 milliliters per hour. So our desired answer is going to be hours, which means we need hours at the top of our first fraction, and our rate has 1 hour is equal to 125 milliliters, right? So there's our first fraction. Be sure that we put the 1 hour at the top, since that is our desired answer. Then our second fraction is going to have milliliters at the top because we had milliliters in the bottom of this other fraction. And remember, we need those units to cancel. So the other piece of this told us that we had to give 1,000 milliliters, right? So let's stack that 1,000 milliliters over 1. And now you'll see that your milliliters cancel, and we can do our multiplying. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000, divided by 125 should give us 8 hours. All right, let's look at the next one. Number 4. We have to give 500 milliliters of 5% dextrose in lactated ringers at 40 milliliters per hour. So abbreviation for this one, we're getting back to that 5% dextrose like what we did up here on number 3, but that one, number 3, was dissolved in water, and this one is in lactated ringers. So we're going to have to combine the D5, not with the W anymore, but with an LR. And of course you could also flip that into RL if you were so inclined. Okay, so flow rate, milliliters per hour, they gave that one to you, 40 milliliters per hour. Again, put the PER in instead of a slash. Infusion time in hours and minutes if needed. So like up here on number 3, it was just 8 hours. So I think in your homework and quizzes and stuff, it will have a blank for however many hours, and it'll have a blank for minutes. So for example 3, if it's just 8 hours, you can type in 8 beside your hour blank, but in your minute blank, you just need to put a 0. Okay. Down here, number 4, hours. We want to know how many hours it's going to take. So we said that first fraction is going to come from your flow rate. Okay, 1 hour is supposed to run through 40 milliliters of fluid. Now, milliliters in the bottom means that we need milliliters on the top of our next fraction. And our order said that we have to use a 500 milliliter bag of this D5LR. All right, so mLs cancel, and we wind up doing a 500 divided by 40, and we get a decimal. 12.5 hours. Okay, so they're not going to take 12.5 hours. They do want you to go ahead and change it into minutes, and that's why that phrase is in there. Infusion time in hours and minutes if needed. They will not accept 12.5 hours. Now, a half of an hour, you're probably pretty comfortable. Go ahead and calculating what kind of minutes that is, but let's say it was something kind of random. I do want to discuss the math with that. If we are going to take our partial hour and change that into minutes, our desired answer is now minutes, and that means we need minutes on top of our first fraction, and all we have is a partial hour that we're working with. But remember, there is a conversion that says 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, right? Again, stack the minutes on the top because that is your desired answer. That puts hours in the bottom. So we're going to pick up our partial piece of an hour here. The 12 out front is good. That is going to be the number you type into the blank in Moodle, but the 0.5 is what we need to pull into our minute math. Okay, so we're using a 0.5 hours. That's going to get your HRs to cancel. 60 times 0.5 should give you 30 minutes. So you will answer 12 hours and 30 minutes for that one.